Very good. So now we've got that over. You may have noticed from that chant, it answers a question which some people often ask who come to this group. Yeah, that way, any way I'll go. Why is it we only get monks here and no nuns? Are there Buddhist nuns? And of course there are. But why don't we get nuns to come to this group? And the reason is in the chanting. If you listen to the chanting, it says, whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting nuns, let none deceive another, or despise any being in any state, let none through anger. That's why we don't get any nuns here. Because of the chanting. Okay, so that's enough of jocularity for now. Now we can learn about some meditation, about learning how to make the mind nice and peaceful and calm and still. So, sometimes, instead of just giving ordinary instructions, it's nice to visualize, to use some of your powers of imagination, which have a huge effect on creating the right state of body, the right state of mind. So, when we meditate, we can start by sitting down and just thinking we're on holiday. Because when you're on holiday, you're away from it all, with nothing to do, nothing to worry about. Everything is looked after for you. So which means you don't have any burdens to worry about. Which is why those who've been here a long time, you know the correct name for this group? It's not Armadale Meditation Group. It is Club Med. Club Med, Armadale. Club Meditation, Armadale. So when you call it Club Med, Armadale, Club Meditation, it gives a different idea of what this meditation is. Learning how to relax the body and relax the mind. If we think it's like going to the dentist, something you have to do every week because you run the show here, that if it's some burden you have to do, it gives you the wrong attitude to start off with. So this is something which, because I've been meditating a long time, I really look forward to meditation. It's like, woohoo! Meditation for half an hour. Brilliant. A time for peace and getting away from all my burdens and all my responsibilities and all my... I'm only a part-time boss. When I meditate, I let go of everything so I can find some peace inside. So in order to do that, first of all, we have to be able to learn how to sit comfortably, which is why we have these chairs for you. Chairs have evolved over thousands of years to be comfortable. So, these chairs, if you can, when you first start meditating, you start to feel just how comfortable are you on your chair. Some people have got their own special chairs, which they have these high-tech meditation chairs these days. You have your remote control, and if the chair is a bit too low, you can push it and the air comes up and you go up, 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 up. If it's too low and goes down, you can recline it in case you're a bit too tired. You can warm it up if you're too cold. You can have aircon on your meditation chair. And you can even press a button where you can get a cup of coffee if you feel tired. High-tech meditation chairs. But nevertheless, even if you did have a high-tech meditation chair, it still wouldn't work, because most of the problem is we don't sit in the chair in the proper position. What is the proper position? Every person has a different position, and every time you meditate, it won't be the same comfortable position as last time. So what you do, when you start meditating, you close your eyes and you observe your body. It's called mindfulness. Being aware of the feelings and sensations in the body with the purpose of making sure that you are comfortable. And if you're not, you move. So you're sitting there, and I sit there with my eyes closed, and no, I need to lean back, or I need to lean forward, I need to uncross my legs. So you look through your body, being mindful. And the thing with mindfulness is like looking at the speedometer of your car. It means you can see if you're going a bit too fast, and then you can take off the pressure on the accelerator to slow down. If you're not going fast enough, you can actually put some more pressure on the accelerator, and the speedometer gives you feedback. So you know how much pressure to put on the speedometer to get just the right speed. Feeling the sensations in the body gives you feedback. You find out what is the best position for my body. So you can move it backwards and forwards, stretch it, relax it, until you find the best position for your body. This is mindfulness, together with some kindness, which creates this beautiful sense of having a relaxed body. So I start the meditation with this simple exercise to get your mindfulness and get this idea of feedback and adjusting to get the best possible position. And then I take it further by asking you to look at part of your body. There must be one part somewhere, usually many parts, which is irritating, which is painful even, or which is just like my throat, itchy. And you focus on that. So I call it zooming in, like on Google Maps. Zoom in on it, so it fills your mind with that irritating feeling, just to know it, and you you can actually observe it changing. Sometimes it gets more itchy, sometimes less itchy, sometimes more painful, sometimes less painful. And then you start to work out why. You'll soon notice that the attitude of your mind will affect the amount of irritation. If you let things be, if you're kind, if you open the door of your heart to that feeling, then it starts to relax and get more easy. But if you get tense, if you get upset, if you try and control those feelings, they will get more intense. The pain increases. So you're doing a very simple exercise of mindfulness again, being mindful of that irritating feeling, and finding out how a little bit of letting be, kindness, relaxes the feeling. As I often say, it's like a string being stretched. If you can let go of both ends of the string, it gets nice and loose. And with the looseness of that part of your body, the irritation, the pain, or whatever else is the problem there, starts to heal. And the irritation, the pain, gets less and less and less. And this is a way, the mindfulness of how comfortable your body is, gives you the understanding, the training on how to relax your own body, until you relax your body really deeply, so relaxed that there's not a tense muscle in it, which means that a lot of pain and aches actually disappear. I like telling this because I like being inspired by some of the results of this. Had these wonderful results. Most recently, the lady over in Eastern Europe who wrote to me, email, thank you so much. She had chronic arthritis, having to take very, very strong medications, and using this simple technique had managed to get so good. First of all, she threw away her medications, and then no more pain, arthritis gone. How that happened, I don't know, a medical miracle, but it worked. Simple, by focusing on part of your body and learning how to ease those feelings by noticing just the way the mind, if it lets go, if it's kind, if it opens up, if it's peaceful, how it can actually relax those aches and pains in the body till they just almost go. But last week I was teaching this to the Cancer Wellness Association. Same people keep coming back every year, which is actually a very good sign. Before they used to have a lot of turnover with that group, new people every year. But now the same people keep coming back, which means they're not dying. Which is great, to see it actually working. So this is a way where you can be focusing on your body, relaxing it, and you actually can feel it. The mindfulness, being so aware of your body, you can feel it relax to the max. And it feels really good. And now that is the first part of the meditation, learning how to relax the body. It gives you a very quick and very easy to understand reward. You feel really good, really, really relaxed, and also healthy. And you use the same method to go to the next level, which is doing exactly the same to your mind, your mental world. Because your mental world, like your body, has got lots of wounds, lots of bruises from the past, or worries of the future, which, just like the body, gives irritations to your peace of mind. Your peace of mind is your natural state. But because of all the things which have happened to you, all the problems you've had in the past week, and all the fears of the future, that is like causing stress in the mind, like you could have stress in the body. Just like sometimes I say this, stress, like you feel like part of your body is being pulled, or being scratched inside, or being put pressure on you. That's on your body. And during this meditation you find it all relaxes, eases off, it opens out, and you feel really good. So exactly the same on your mental world. All these problems from the past pulling you, asking you to deal and solve the problems of the past, or dragging you off into the future in fears and plans for some time which hasn't come yet. All that stretching your mind, causing you this stress. And now we learn how to just to let go, just by feeling the mind, and just learning what makes it more peaceful. And again, it's just letting things be. It's like being kind. It's beautiful compassion and kindness. It takes away a lot of the fear of the future. I often say that whenever I was afraid as a young kid, especially at night time, especially of ghosts. Actually, there's a really nice, this is not a joke ghost story, this is a true ghost story I heard a couple of weeks ago. This is one of, I don't know if you've ever met him, Rachel, that's Pon, the Thai kickboxer, martial artist. You've probably seen him somewhere in some of the events. But I went to his place to do a blessing, and he told me this really nice, true story. One of his friends had a dog, and when the dog got very old, it looked after it the best he possibly could, but the day came, took the dog to the vet, and the vet said, it's the end. We have to inject him, have to euthanize the dog. So very, very sadly, he had to put his dog down. The next morning, he was ready to go to work, opened the front door of his house, and what was in front of the door? A dog. Looked exactly like the dog which he just put down the night before, the afternoon before. He goes, it couldn't be my dog, he died. And the dog ran right past him into the house and went to every corner, which was his favourite corner where he used to sleep, went out into the garden to drink from the tap, which he'd always liked drinking from, and then ran up to the bedroom where his wife was still half asleep, and kissed his wife like he used to do when he was still alive. And the wife, not realizing what she was kissing, was just kissing the dog. She half asleep, she didn't realize the dog had died. So she just kissed the dog, and the dog kissed her, not realizing what she was kissing. And then the dog ran to the front and wanted to get in the guy's car to go to work, like the dog would often accompany the master to work. And I said, no, you can't come in. So he drove off, and the dog ran off in the opposite direction, and never saw him again. The little ghost dog who just came one last time just to see all his old haunts, to say goodbye to his mistress, to say goodbye to his master before he went and disappeared. So, the moral of that story is when you're half asleep and somebody tries to kiss you in the morning, be careful what you're kissing. It could be a ghost. A nice little story, but it's a nice story because obviously the dog wanted to do something good and say goodbye properly to the people it loved very much. So anyway, weird stuff, which I collect as monk over the years. I should actually write a book called Weird Stuff. Tales of the Supernatural. People don't want to know about how to be happy and well. They want to know the weird stuff. Anyway, where was I going with this? I was going about the mind, learning how to make the mind nice and peaceful and calm. When the mind is nice and peaceful and calm, it feels really good. And all you're doing is you're relaxing it. The same way you relax the body. If you try to relax the body, you just get tense again. If you try to meditate and relax the mind, you just get tense again. It's just more things stretching and pulling you. So we learn. Just we observe our mind with our mindfulness. We understand how peaceful we are, how irritated we are, and we learn how to use that as like the speedometer to learn what we should do to move that needle to more peace and away from more irritation and restlessness. And we soon find it's an attitude of mind, and that attitude of mind is what kindness really is. Relaxes things. I was going to say that if ever you're afraid, sometimes when you're a kid, your mummy would come and kiss you and just stroke your hair, and just that kindness and love will take away all your fear of the future. And so this is actually how that kindness will actually relax our minds, and we find that after a while our mind gets so peaceful and still. And that's the heart of meditation. Because if we try to get something rather than relaxing things, think of relaxation, not sort of attaining. Think of letting go, not controlling. Because those people who try to control their mind, it goes all over the place. If you think relaxing, letting go, just being peaceful, you find it's not that hard to do. And after a while you get very skilled at relaxing your mind and becoming very peaceful. And just like your body, when it's totally relaxed, it feels really pleasant. Same to your mind, it's relaxed, you're having a bit of a break or holiday. And the benefits of this, don't think, oh, I've got too many things to do, I can't afford just to relax, I've got too many problems to solve. You'll find, and this is, and many people realise this when they meditate, if you stop thinking about a problem, the answer comes to you. It's just sitting there, not really thinking about the problem, and you get these really great answers. So if you are meditating, relax the mind, you will get the best answers to the problems in your life, knowing exactly what to do and not sort of messing up. So this is a really important thing to do. Okay, so I haven't really told a joke yet, have I? I only told, do you want a naughty joke? I only got this naughty joke today. It's about, I tried it out to my driver, he didn't get it at first. So I better sort of do it slowly. It was about, the Muslim extremists, and why they're martyrs. And that's why there's this a sign somewhere, I think in the United States, to women. It says, please, women, do not die a virgin. There are many extremists waiting for you up in heaven. It's a clever anyway. I'll probably get into trouble for that. Did I do the... When did I give the last one? Did I do the kidnapping one last time?
Doesn't matter. Tell it again anyway.
I don't know if you saw the news today.
Oh, he did do it last time.
No, I did. That's the thing about sort of teaching people of your age group. You forget what I said last time. I know the kidnapping joke was just as a...
It's a good one.
Yeah, okay.
It deserves repeating.
Okay. That's a terrible joke. Did you hear about the kidnapping in school?
No.
It's woken up now. The kidnapping in school. Oh, come on.
That's always a good sign.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, after a while they go, they grow. And afterwards they'll say, that's a terrible joke, but they can't wait to tell everyone when they get back to work tomorrow morning. Okay, so that's a bit of meditation and also a bit of humour as well. Hopefully that's good enough. So now we can actually do some meditation. Any questions before we begin? I always say that, I never get any. One day I will. Okay, so but you don't have to worry about anything because I will guide the meditation for you. So it's just like I'm sitting there holding your hand. Guide you. Yeah, sit there and enjoy. I do all the work. Okay, so let's get going. So we'll meditate for half an hour, and I will ring the gong when it's the time to finish the meditation. However, if I happen to die during the meditation, will someone else please ring the gong? Thank you very much. Yeah.
I'm going to worry all the way through.
Okay, so shut up. Close your eyes. And when you close your eyes, remember this is Club Med. So start just realizing this is peace, this is happiness, getting away from it all, having a break from the busyness of life. So you're sitting in your chair. Start with your bottom. Is your bottom comfortable on your chair? Fidget it. This is not the US Marines. You're allowed to fidget. Fidgeting is using mindfulness and kindness. You fidget. Is this position better than the last? No. Fidget again. Is this better? So you're getting feedback to the feeling in your bottom until you find the optimum position for your bottom. And once your bottom's comfortable, now your legs. Are they well positioned on the floor? They need to be pushed aside, raised, whatever. So find the best position for your legs and your feet. And don't take them for granted. Be aware of the feeling, sensations in your legs. And only after moving them and you feel that they are comfortable, only then move on to your back. So many people have aches and pains and injuries to their back because they're not mindful of their positioning of their back. We're not saying that one position is better than the other. You find out what is the best for you. So you can lean back against the rest or lean forward, left, right, whatever. What works for you? And as you move, get feedback from mindfulness to tell you what's the best position. And then check your arms and hands. How are they positioned? You can adjust them, fidget them, always checking, is this better, is this more comfortable? They should not be tight, they should be pretty loose and comfortable. If they're too tight, eventually they start to ache. So you're really aware of your position. And lastly, you move up to your head, making sure your head is not too far forward, not too far back, not leaning to the left or right, just nicely balanced. The best you can do. And lastly, please put some awareness on the muscles around your eyes and mouth, because when you're stressed you find those muscles scrunch up. So if you're aware of the feeling in those muscles, you find you can learn how just to relax them, to take away the tension, to ease those muscles. It's an exercise in mindfulness and the feedback from mindfulness and how you learn how to relax muscles in your own body. So can you feel those muscles around the eyes and the mouth getting looser? The tension becoming relieved. This is how we learn how to relax deeply. And once your posture is the best you can do for now, now go into a deeper level of relaxation. find one part of your body which is irritating or painful or just itchy like my throat. Focus on that part of your body. Zoom in on it. So you're just being mindful of one small part. And as you're mindful of that one small part of your body, you can feel the pain or the irritation. And see if you can notice the intensity of that feeling change. Sometimes get worse, sometimes get better. And see if you can notice how the attitude of mind, the way you observe that feeling, will affect how intense that itch or that pain is, or how much it relaxes and relieves. Experiment. The mindfulness of that irritation or pain will give you feedback. Because you get feedback through trial and error, you learn how to lessen the intensity of those feelings, otherwise known as relaxation. So just focusing on the feeling in my throat, because that's the worst part of my body right now. You may have an ache in your intestines, an ache in the knee somewhere, arthritis in the elbows, or a headache. Just focus on that one part which is causing you the most irritation. That's like your speedometer, and see how you can lessen the intensity of that irritation. And you'll soon figure out that when the mind has this attitude of letting it be, being kind, opening the door of your heart to that feeling, embracing it, making peace with it, the irritation or pain gets less, only slightly less, but it shows you that you are going in the correct direction. You're lessening the irritation or pain. Little by little. Being mindful of just that feeling, that sensation. Watching it change for the better. And you'll be surprised how you can alter those feelings. It's not that hard to learn how to relax once you have the mindfulness and know how to let things be. And you'll also be surprised at how much you can ease those aches and pains. And with practice, you can relax the body so much that even severe pains can just vanish, and your health improves. So many diseases and health issues come from stress, and now we're learning how to let go of that stress. Sometimes, again, I use imagination. You can imagine just my throat, feeling it tense, just like a string or a rope being pulled at both ends. And I imagine letting go of both ends of that rope, so the rope is loose. It's got no tightness in it at all. When I imagine that, the muscles in my throat also relax, loosen, and the irritation gets less. The pain eases off when I loosen the muscles and whatever else is around that area of my body. Or some pains and irritations are like a sponge which is squashed, and I take the pressure off and let the sponge expand. And again, the intensity of the ache or pain eases, because I'm taking off pressure, letting go. Or sometimes I look at a pain and irritation just with this beautiful kindness, like my mother when I was sick, looking at me and just giving so much kindness. The ache, the pain starts to disappear. This time the kindness is coming from you, onto your own body. Once that part of the body feels at ease, move to another part of the body which is also needs your attention. Just your mind focuses on that other part of the body. Could be your knees or your head, having a headache. As you focus on it and are mindful of it, you soon find you can control in the sense of letting it be and relaxing. Until your body gets really deeply relaxed, probably more relaxed than if you go to a spa. Doing it just through mindfulness and letting things be. And when your body is relaxed, it feels very pleasant. Much of the tightness and tension which irritate you throughout the day is all relieved. You feel free, able to heal. And once my body is relaxed, then I look at my mental world, the emotional world, the world of thoughts and fears and anger and guilt. I look at that just like my body, and I look for how I can lessen its irritations. If there's something which is really irritating you, like a memory of what happened earlier today, or a fear of the future, just allow the mind to focus on it. But don't think about it, just feel the tightness, the tension, the heaviness of that memory or that fear of the future. Feel its heaviness, its irritation, and see what you need to do with an attitude of mind to lessen the heaviness of that memory of the past. Exactly what worked with the body, just letting it be, being kind, embracing, opening the door of your heart to that feeling. Don't look at the particulars, just a general feeling, like the past has bruised you. And see how you can lessen that feeling of injury. Until the irritation gets less and less and less. It's called making peace with the past, pacifying it. Or there may be some fear of the future. We just notice how burdensome that fear is, how it tires us and weakens us. We feel that tiredness, that heaviness, like the future is pulling at us, and we learn to let go, to soften, to make peace. We can feel just that peace grow in our mind. This is what we're mindful of, the peace or the irritation, and learning from feedback how to lessen the irritation and create more peace, to relax in your emotional mental world. Soon one feels what one needs to do to relax even more. The feedback trains you. So can you notice if your mind is peaceful? If you wish to give it a score out of 10, 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 3 out of 10, how peaceful is your mind right now? Give it a score. Now, what do you need to do to increase that score to be more peaceful? What makes the mind more peaceful? What decreases the score and makes the more irritated? This is where we learn how to let things be. And our mind becomes more and more peaceful. Now, at this stage some people are peaceful, but they start wandering off into thoughts, fantasies, plans. So in order to avoid that, now is a good time to start focusing on your breathing. Ask yourself, am I breathing in right now or breathing out? And how do you know? Whatever feeling, sensation it is, tells you whether you're breathing in or breathing out. Follow that sensation. Focus on it, be mindful of it, the feeling of the breath. And to help anchor your attention onto your breathing, as you breathe in, say to yourself, breathe in, peace. Breathe out, let go. Or if you are sick, breathe in health, breathe out illness. And as you say these words with every in-breath or out-breath, imagine peace coming into your mind, into your body with every in-breath. Imagine peace. Beautiful piece of bush, a seascape, sunset at night time, so peaceful. Imagine that coming into your mind with every in-breath, and letting go any bit of tension, bad memories, fears, sickness. Imagine that going out with every out-breath. Breathing in peace. Breathe out, let go. Breathing in peace. Breathe out, let go. Feel the peace increase. And all the burdens, all the stuff we carry around, go out, little by little, with every out breath. Breathing in peace. Breathe out, let go. in peace. Breathe out, let go. How do you feel now? How peaceful is your mind, and how relaxed is your body? How different is it to when you started? This is the way of meditation, the way to peace of mind and ease in your body. I'm now going to ring the gong 3 times. Please listen to every sound from the gong, and at the 3rd ringing, open your eyes. Very good. Like a unicorn. Very good. Okay. Okay, so now usually there may be a question in the box. Sometimes there is, sometimes there's not. Okay, you got a question, go ahead. Okay.
It's probably a crazy question.
There's no such thing as a crazy question, thank you so much.
The good old nanny nap.
Yeah.
Sometimes you could get so mind boggled.
Yeah.
And you have things to do, whether it's, say, especially if it's book work or you've got to concentrate to do something. And you're so tired and mind boggled.
Yeah.
You just can't do it.
Exactly.
So what would be the difference of having it? And I find if I go and have intentionally sit down for an hour, I can die for an hour. And you get up and you can go like crazy. So what's the difference between a good old nanny nap and resting to meditation for half an hour?
It's usually meditation is far quicker and you get much more energy back. This is actually, many of you have heard this simile before. It's, but this is a simile which is taught in Harvard now. How heavy is my glass of water? The longer you hold it, the heavier it feels. After 1 minute, my arm will start to ache. 2 minutes, will be in pain. In 3 minutes, will be in agony. And it's because I'm very stupid. What should I do when it gets too heavy to hold comfortably? Just put it down and rest for a minute. Even less, for 15 seconds is good enough. When you pick it up after 15 seconds, it actually feels lighter. Honestly, it feels lighter because your arm has rested. So I can carry it without any stress for another sort of 15 minutes. And that is the simile of stress. The stress and the tiredness which you're talking about is all caused not because we have so much to do. It's because when it gets too heavy to do comfortably, we don't take a few seconds just to relax and rest. So before you get to that stage, you're so tired, your brain stops working. When it starts to tell you this is just, you're pushing yourself too hard, take a rest for a few seconds, a few minutes. And then when you take a rest, and the most efficient way to do that is meditation, you go back to your work afterwards, and again, you're very clear, you can produce, it's good quality stuff, ideas come, you can find the right word, you're not wasting time. Our problem is that when we're tired, we keep pushing ourselves, so we actually waste time, we're not very efficient, and we get to that point where we the brain says, right, that's it, I'm not performing anymore. You see that even with kids doing their assignments at home, staring at the computer, nothing's coming out. Just wasting time. Which is why when you learn how to relax, you can actually just avoid that. It's called, in Harvard, in business school, investment in time. 5 minutes, 10 minutes of meditation when you feel tired. You make that up with doing 1 hour's work in half an hour afterwards. That is why in modern companies, whether it's Dell Computing, whether it's Samsung, whether it's Google and Facebook, I went there a couple of years ago, they all have their meditation rooms any time of the day, all night, because they work all hours in these places. You just go there and just relax, because the management know 5 or 10 minutes of little meditation, you'll make it up afterwards with greater efficiency. It's just people don't know how to use their brains until you get so tired, then you have to have your nanny nap or whatever. So it's much better just to learn how to relax first of all. And these days, if you haven't got it don't work for Google, or if you don't work for Facebook, you can always go into the ladies' toilet and say, why are you spending 10 minutes in there? They say, because I'm constipated. And that's pretty true. No, not your body, your brain is constipated, nothing's coming out. Simply because you're tired. So this is actually how we can work efficiently in this world, taking some time off. And don't worry if you don't actually not at work, but at home. Sometimes people find it difficult to meditate at work, but they think at home, that's your place, surely you can meditate there. But people always asking you say, oh, are you doing anything? No, I'm just meditating. Oh, that's doing nothing, come and help me. But there was one lady who came here many years ago, I forget what her name was, Rachel, but I always really respect her. And she told me that she would meditate here, but when she went home, she had 2 young kids. And I always found it difficult to meditate with 2 young children. Because as soon as she sat down, they started crawling all over her, pulling her hair, just wanting attention. And she'd always get up, so she'd never find her meditation time. But one day she told me, she'd had it. Right, I'm going to meditate no matter what. She sat down, and the kids started climbing all over her. She just didn't move. Started pulling her hair. Mummy, mummy, mummy. She didn't move. Mummy, I need a glass of water. Mummy, I need to go toilet. I need to go poo. She never moved. So it's amazing the intelligence of kids. I don't know where they get this from, but they know how to try and control their mum. She said one of the kids, well, that's a girl and a boy, so I forget the name, say it was like Sarah and David or something. Say, mummy, mummy, Sarah has got a kitchen knife out from the drawer. Mummy, mummy, David has turned on the gas. And mummy was just smart enough. She just sat there. She just had enough. I don't care if they cut each other up. I don't care if they blow up the house. I'm going to meditate. I deserve my time. And after about 5 or 10 minutes of that, the kids went totally quiet. She didn't know whether they killed each other or gassed each other, but she didn't care. She was meditating. And when she came out after half an hour, she found her 2 kids playing quietly in the corner. They hadn't sort of sliced each other to bits. They hadn't blown up the house. That was just threats. And from that time on, she always won her meditation time. When she sat down, the kids realised there's no way we're going to get our mother's attention now. And they looked after themselves quite happily. And that's actually how Mother found her meditation time, sort of at home. So, if you really want to, your husband doesn't need you 24/7. He can look after himself. And same as the kids, they can look after themselves. And you don't have to answer the phone. It's not Obama calling you up. So, just leave the phone to ring. It's nothing really important, which means that you can just find your own time to meditate. And it's wonderful when you do find the time. What you're doing is you're giving importance to things like your peace of mind. And if you can do that, you will find all the work which you have to do, you can get done more work. There's one friend, I always tell this on retreats, he meditates 1 hour every day except when he's busy. And when he's busy, he meditates 2 hours a day. Simply because he has to be more efficient and get more things done in less time when he's really busy. So that's when he really gets into his meditation. And that's why that in Google and Facebook over in San Francisco, they've got the meditation rooms there. Because they know this is good for getting people to be stress-free. It's good for their health. Don't have so much backstabbing in the office, which is because people get tired and frustrated and stressed. And also they need much more efficiency and innovation as well. That's how it works. So that's why I do go all over the place to teach all of this. This is innovation. I taught this in Korea in the World Computer Conference. Amazing where I go to. I don't know anything about computers, but I gave the keynote address for the World Computer Conference, and the guys who invited me, they came to visit from Sydney just a week ago, and they say, people said it was the best talk of the whole conference. Again, because it was actually something new and original, and they hadn't heard this before. All the other stuff, they can read that in books, but this is actually, again, I hold up a bottle of water, not a glass, and here says innovation, seeing things afresh. What is this I'm holding up right now? Any idea? A glass of what?
Water.
Yeah, what else can you see? Reflections.
Nothing.
Yeah, what else can you see? Water in there. Yeah, what else is there?
Because you're holding your hand up.
Yeah. What else?
Light.
What else can you see?
Light.
Yes, what else?
Wobbles.
Oh, yes, what else?
Nothing.
What else? Have you noticed that the more you look, the more you see?
Mm.
If you'd either stopped immediately, what is this? A glass of water. You would not have looked any further, which means you wouldn't have seen much more. And this is actually how we have innovation, insight, seeing deeper into things. Instead of just saying, Rachel, monk, much deeper than that. Look a bit deeper. So you hold something like, say, monk or Rachel or this close water, and you keep looking. And after a while you soon exhaust all the things you were taught and assume, glass of water, and you can see many, many more things. Things which you haven't seen before. This is actually where new ideas come from. Solutions to problems which you haven't thought of. Innovation. I'd like to tell you a story. It was, I think, 1915 or 20 or something. They had the St. Louis World's Fair in the United States. And it just so happened by chance that the stall which was selling ice cream, and these fairs and events are always selling food, they had an ice cream stall, and it was next to the store which sold waffles. You know waffles, in the morning. And what's the connection between ice cream and waffles? After a few days of just being next to each other, talking to each other, they had an idea. Why don't we combine waffles and ice cream? And that was where the ice cream cone originated from. Just luck of having waffle stall next to the ice cream stall, and a new product came online, ice cream cone, which we all eat these days. That's where it was originated from. Just because a person, waffle, ice cream, let's see more deeper, and they get these new ideas.
Who put the flake in it, you reckon?
I don't know, anyway. But that's where these things come from. That's why even just a little bit of stillness and calmness, relaxation, not thinking about the problem, and then actually you get solutions come up. And that's actually where we always call it in meditation the wisdom born of stillness. When you're very calm and still, it's amazing how many ideas come. That's the same reason why you can't think of somebody's name the more you think about it. But when you stop thinking about it, when you're silent, it just pops up. And that is actually the way to solve problems and get solutions to the difficulties of life. So that's why just relax, rest, and actually get more work done, more ideas in your work. And it's also a way you can just get more healing. I often like saying, especially in hospitals, I got all these science papers that when, is there any doctors here by the way? Good. When the doctors went on strike in Jerusalem for about 3 weeks, they did emergency surgery but nothing else. And in 3 weeks, the death rate in Israel plummeted. Not as many people died when the doctors were on strike. Interesting. And it was also confirmed in the United States, they found 3 days a year hardly anyone died of cardiac problems. There were spikes in the number of deaths on 3 days. I wonder why those 3 days. They weren't connected until somebody found a solution. Those were 3 days in the year. There were major conferences for the specialists on cardiac arrest. When they're at the conference, not messing around with your body, people never died. Isn't it the case when the traffic lights don't work, when there's a power outage? People actually, they work out to get past, and it's not so much traffic snarls. There's so much that when we leave things alone, they tend to work by themselves and they get better. So sometimes letting things be and letting things go is sometimes the most best way of getting positive results in our health and even in life. It brings me to one of my favourite stories, which some of you have heard so many times, but I have to keep saying this because I said this even recently to a person and never heard it before, and it's a powerful story how to deal with problems in life. And this was the story of a friend I knew years ago. He was very old, I was very young. He was in the British Army in the Second World War. This is in the Burma jungles. It's in one of my first books. He was in the jungles in Burma fighting the Japanese and on patrol, and in the middle of the jungles the scout came back to tell the terrible news. they had stumbled into the middle of a huge number of Japanese soldiers. They were totally surrounded and outnumbered. He thought he was going to die. This was it, the end. Thousands of miles from home, surrounded by the enemy in a real war. And people will tell you, no one knows who will be the hero in these occasions. Sometimes the little guys tend to be the brave ones and the big guys tend to be the cowards. They just break up. But he decided to be the hero. He decided to try and fight his way out. Who knows that someone might make it. Even if he doesn't make it, he will take many of the Japanese soldiers with him into death. That's the manly thing to do. That's what Bruce Willis would do. But unfortunately, real life is not like Die Hard. In real life, he would have died many times. But the captain said, "No, you will not fight your way out. No one will. I order you all to sit down in the middle of the jungle and make a cup of tea." And he thought, what? Make a cup of tea in the middle of the jungle, surrounded by the enemy, outnumbered and about to die? That's the craziest thing he'd ever heard in his life. Even though it was the British Army, it was crazy. The British Army liked tea. But an order had to be obeyed, especially at war. So even thinking this was the maddest, craziest thing he'd ever done in his life, they all sat down and made a cup of tea. And in the time it took them to do that, the scout returned and said, "Put everything away quickly. The enemy has moved. There's a way out." And they all crawled through that gap in the encircling enemy forces, which is why he could tell me the tale, and everyone else could as well. They all survived because of the wisdom of that captain. When there's nothing to do, what should you do? Do nothing. Sit down, have a cup of tea.
That's a British.
You've got cancer, and the doctor says it's terminal. Nothing to do. What to do? Sit down, have a cup of tea.
A nice cup of tea.
A nice cup of tea. If you don't like tea, have coffee if you like,
Nice cup of tea.
or orange juice, whatever. Because what that does is you're not wasting your energies. And also you're enjoying something, which gives you more energy. And so when there is something you can do, you can take it. Just like, can't remember thinking of poor old Ted. He used to live up in Roldestone. And he was this English guy. He would smoke. So he got cancer. And after he got cancer, he went to see him a few times. In the end, he ended up in the hospice, at Murdoch Hospice. One of the first people in the hospice. And I went to see him over there, and he was now there to die, no hospice, no way really out, only one way. You go in an ambulance, go out in the box. But for him, he told me the first day he was in that hospice, the first evening, nurse came up to him and said, "What do you want to have for dinner?" And he replied, "Well, I've got diabetes, so you can't have anything sugary or sweet. I've also got high cholesterol, so no oil. I've got hardened arteries, so no salt." And all these things he said he couldn't eat. And the nurse just looked at him and said, "What the hell are you talking about? You're not going to die of a heart attack. You're not going to die of diabetes. You've got cancer. That's going to get you before any of those have a chance. You can eat whatever you like." And his eyes went wide and said, "Really? Anything I like?" And he ordered all his favourite greasy sweet food with tons of salt, which his wife would never let him get near for the last 4 years. And he enjoyed himself so much, eating all his favourite foods. No joke. After a couple of weeks, he walked out of that hospice. He got better. Honest. He was enjoying himself so much. He got better. You had to go back 6 months later to die properly, as I said. He went extra 6 months. Good old Ted. And I thought, good on you. You know, he was enjoying himself so much that joy and happiness, that's also great for your health as well. It's not all about health foods and stuff like that. It's also about happy foods as well. McDonald's Happy Meals. So that's also important to actually to have some good health. Okay, just on that. When was the last time because I remember this story about the child praying by the bedside? I remember that one. I just remember this because on the way up here, there was, these little kids. Sometimes they can be so cute, so believing. So one day the father went past his little son's bedroom, maybe at 6 years of age, and he was praying. And he said, God bless Mummy, God bless Daddy, God bless Grandma, and goodbye Grandpa. He thought, well, that's a bit strange, but it's just a 6-year-old, they say weird things sometimes. So he just went to bed, and in the morning he woke up. That night Grandpa died, passed away. That's really weird. So after the funeral, sort of a few weeks went past his son's bedroom again, and then he saw his son praying again. God bless Mummy, God bless Daddy, goodbye Grandma. And he was a bit spooked, especially in the morning when he found Grandma had died. And that was really weird. So you can imagine how he felt a few weeks later. When he went past his son's bedroom and he heard his son praying, God bless Mummy, goodbye Daddy. And he freaked. So he didn't go to bed that night, he couldn't go to sleep. So he thought, I'm going to die. And he thought, what should I do? And he said, I know what, I get out of the house and I go to work, middle of the night, and lock himself in the office. Locked all the doors in the office, middle of the night, just stayed in there. Because he couldn't go to sleep at all. He was just so scared that death was going to find him. But he thought, I'm in my office, they won't find me here. And he waited and waited, the minutes sort of ticked around really, really slowly. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, he'd made it so far, 5 o'clock. He knew if he got to dawn, he'd be safe. And when dawn came, he sighed his biggest sigh of relief. He cheated death. And he was just so relieved. So, after getting himself a cup of coffee, realised he was going to survive. He got in his car and sort of drove home. And there he saw his wife, really distraught. Said, what's wrong with you? He said, I had a terrible night, said the husband. I've been up all night. I thought I was going to die. And the wife said, and you had a terrible night. I woke up this morning and I found the milkman dead on the front door. Goodbye, Daddy. Uncle Ajahn Brahm. You haven't heard that one before? Yeah, amazing. Anyway, it's a terrible joke, a bad joke, and you all criticise me for it, but you all tell everybody tomorrow. Goodbye, Mummy, goodbye, Daddy. Anyway, okay. Any other questions before we finish off? Oh, I should tell you, this is the last time the monks are going to be here for a while, because we go off on our retreat for 3 months. We call it a rest period, because the rest of the monks have a nice time. I have to teach them all. So I still do a lot of work there, which is nice. Sorry?
Sad.
Yeah, it is, yeah. But it's always part of our life, and it's also it's a nice example. We spend a lot of time doing as much as we possibly can to help others. We spend some time just going inside for ourselves. Just the same in your life. Please find time for your own little retreat times. You serve other people, help other people, your family, and other people's in society. But there comes a time when you just need to sort of go inside yourself to recharge your batteries, to get some good energy up, find some new jokes, new stories. So actually to get some energy coming up. Yes?
When you go on retreats, isn't there a lot of people who go to see families or have a holiday? Or isn't it their time off?
It's not really, because wherever you go to see your family, it's just so much work, so much talking, and sometimes, again, it's very nice to spend time with the closest member of the family you possibly have, which is yourself. Your family too. And so sometimes just to be with yourself, just one-on-one with yourself, and learn how to be at peace with yourself. Learn how to rest, relax. Because sometimes I'm amazed when people have long weekends and holidays. You ask, what are you doing? They're going here, going there. You spend so much time building your house, or just decorating if you don't own it, and make it really comfortable. And it's true, there's no place like home. There's no pillow like the pillow you lay your head down on every evening. There's no bed as comfortable as your own bed. And even the food in your house, there's nothing like your own food. So sometimes you wonder, why do people go on holiday when you've got this comfortable house? The trouble is, if you're in the house, you don't know how to enjoy it. You're always doing stuff in the house rather than just sitting enjoying it. So that's why, okay, this is the last little story, I've told this many times. That's why I find that in monastery where I live, many of you go there, it's just a beautiful monastery. It's so delightful. And that happened to me once. I was walking with someone, says, it's a beautiful monastery. What? Can't you see all the things which need to be done in this monastery? All the leaves which need to be swept, the gutters need to be cleaned, things need to be fixed. And for me, because I was living there, it wasn't a beautiful monastery. It was my workplace. For you visitors, you could really enjoy it. It's very peaceful. And I realised there was a big problem there. And so from that time on, I always gave myself, usually Monday mornings, when I pretended I wasn't the boss, that I was a visitor in the monastery where I lived. So if I saw any leaves need to be swept, not my job, I don't live here, I'm only visiting. If I saw any rubbish on the ground, I'm not going to pick it up, it's not my job, I'm only visiting. Just when you visit. So I could appreciate the beauty of the place and the peace only when I looked with the eyes of a visitor. So I try to teach that to everyone when you go home, because you own that house, because you live in it. There's so much work to be done there. But why not spend an hour or two every week in your own home pretending you're a visitor? All the dishes which need to be cleaned. When I go visit other people's house, I don't wash your dishes for you. That's your job. You just feed me. Oh yeah, I make the dishes dirty, that's my job. It's the owner's job to clean them. So you can look at your house, I'm not washing the dishes, not my house, not my job. I'm not going to vacuum the floor, not my floor. I'm not going to mow the lawn in the garden, I'm only visiting. When you go to King's Park, do you mow the lawn for them? Do you want to find? No, you're a visitor. So when you look with the eyes of a visitor, then you can appreciate the house where you live. You don't need to work so hard. Only 1 or 2 hours a day, or a week, a month, a year, lifetime. That means when you appreciate your own house, you don't have to go off. You can really have retreats. Learn how to be a visitor, not just an owner. Okay.